Here is my story how I retired at 38 with $2.3 million, saw my money swing from $2.1 to $10 million, and now it's stable at $6.9 million. I explored Thailand, NYC, and China, and now focus on stable investments like disc golf. Planning a trip to Mexico City, staying committed to my financial independence journey and personal growth. I posted about reaching FIRE in 2018 when I was 38, now I'm 43. Back then, my plan was to travel after years of frugal living and hard work. I retired with $2.3 million, a paid-off home, and no debt, ready to care for my elderly immigrant parents who have little to no retirement savings. I'm from the southern US. On the first day of my retirement, I felt a mix of relief and excitement. I had spent over a decade at my job straight out of grad school, with a salary ranging from $70,000 to $130,000. I lived in a state with a low cost of living and no state income tax, allowing me to save a significant portion of my income. I lived in the same starter home I bought around 2010 and drove an old Camry. My investment strategy was straightforward: large-cap US index funds, Berkshire Hathaway, and some individual stocks in banks and technology companies. In my first year of retirement, I moved to Thailand to volunteer at a non-profit, teaching English to former prostitutes and low-level criminals for tourism industry jobs. The cost of living in Bangkok was incredibly low, and my apartment and utilities were provided for free by the non-profit. My monthly expenses, including health insurance and food, were around $850. I rarely cooked, as street food in Bangkok was cheap and delicious. My old boss offered me a remote job reviewing work and answering emails for a small salary, which I accepted. It provided some extra income without tying me down. The second year brought the 19 and I was stuck at home during lockdown. My net worth fluctuated dramatically, reaching over $3 million before dropping to $2.1 million during the market crash. I held steady, recalling my experience from the Great Recession, and eventually, my net worth rebounded to $2.6 million. The third year was uneventful due to continued lockdowns, so I explored state parks in Texas, Oklahoma, New Mexico, and Arkansas. These trips were enjoyable, offering a chance to reconnect with nature and spend time with family. In the fourth year, I traveled to New York City for a friend's wedding and ended up volunteering with New York Cares. I helped high school students and their families fill out FAFSA applications, enjoying my time as a tourist in the city. My net worth experienced wild swings, reaching over $10 million before the Fed's interest rate hikes brought it down to $6.1 million. Despite the losses, I remained optimistic, as I was still significantly ahead of where I started. Recently, I spent the summer in China for another wedding and explored the countryside with friends. Harbin, in the Heilongjiang province, was a highlight with its Russian influence and delicious cold weather food. Despite the enjoyable trip, the pervasive surveillance in China was unsettling, reminding me of the importance of personal freedom. Returning to the US, I felt aimless and pondered my next steps. I spent a month near Big Bend National Park, enjoying solitude and the company of a few locals. I also reconnected with an ex-girlfriend, but the spark was gone. I'm not actively seeking a relationship but remain open to new experiences. My net worth as of September 2023 is $6.9 million, a 13% gain from last year. While I underperformed compared to SPY, I'm pleased given my portfolio's heavy exposure to banks, which have struggled recently. I'm cautious about new stock investments, focusing instead on maxing out my 401k and HSA contributions and exploring opportunities in supply chain finance with some hedge funds, aiming for steady returns. Looking ahead, I'm considering a trip to Mexico City for the street food and vibrant culture. My recent visit to NYC highlighted how much hotel prices have surged due to new regulations and increased demand. Despite the high costs, I'm eager to continue traveling and discovering new places. Overall, I'm feeling introspective, exploring new hobbies like disc golf, and contemplating how to stay engaged and fulfilled in this next phase of my life. The journey has been unpredictable, but I remain committed to living fully and making the most of my financial independence. During the first year of my retirement, the move to Thailand was a major lifestyle shift. I had spent years adhering to a strict budget, avoiding lifestyle inflation, and investing wisely. Moving to a country with such a low cost of living was an eye-opener. My apartment and utilities were provided by the non-profit I volunteered for, allowing me to live comfortably on very little money. The camaraderie among fellow volunteers and the rewarding work made this period one of personal growth and satisfaction. Additionally, the health insurance situation was a pleasant surprise. As a sponsored worker, I could buy local health insurance at a fraction of the cost of international expat insurance. This period also marked the start of my remote work, adding a small but steady income stream to my finances. When 9 hit in my second year of retirement, it was a time of uncertainty and adaptation. The pandemic led to a sharp market downturn, but my experience during the Great Recession helped me avoid panic selling. Instead, I held my ground, and by the end of the year, my portfolio had rebounded. The lockdown period forced me to stay local, so I focused on exploring nearby natural parks and spending quality time with my family. These simpler activities provided a different kind of fulfillment, emphasizing the value of relationships and nature. In the third year, with travel restrictions still in place, I continued to explore local destinations. Camping trips and visits to small towns offered a unique perspective on my own country, highlighting its diverse landscapes and communities. This period of local exploration deepened my appreciation for the simple pleasures in life and reinforced the importance of adaptability and resilience. The fourth year marked the end of lockdowns, and my trip to New York City reignited my passion for travel. Volunteering with New York Cares allowed me to contribute meaningfully while enjoying the vibrant city life. The experience of helping students and their families navigate the college application process was deeply rewarding. However, the volatility in my investment portfolio was a constant reminder of the unpredictable nature of financial markets. Despite significant gains followed by steep losses, I maintained a long-term perspective, focusing on my overall progress since retirement. My recent trip to China in the fifth year was a mix of cultural enrichment and discomfort with the surveillance state. Harbin's unique cultural blend and culinary delights were highlights, but the pervasive monitoring reminded me of the freedoms I value. Upon returning to the US, I faced a period of introspection and uncertainty about my next steps. The time spent in Big Bend National Park and with an old flame provided moments of reflection and clarity. Reconnecting with past relationships and exploring new hobbies like disc golf have kept me grounded and engaged. Financially, my net worth continues to grow, albeit with some volatility. My focus now is on steady, reliable investments, including maxing out retirement accounts and exploring opportunities in supply chain finance. The cautious approach reflects my desire for stability and long-term growth. Looking ahead, travel remains a key part of my plans, with Mexico City as a potential next destination. The rising cost of travel accommodations, especially in places like New York City, is a concern, but I'm committed to finding ways to continue my adventures. The challenges and uncertainties of the past few years have taught me the value of flexibility and the importance of pursuing activities that bring joy and fulfillment. Overall, the journey since my initial post about reaching FIRE has been one of growth, adaptation, and discovery. Each year has brought its own set of challenges and rewards, shaping my perspective on life and financial independence. I remain grateful for the support and encouragement from the Reddit community and look forward to the next chapter of my journey with optimism and curiosity. In reflecting on my journey, I can see how each year has added layers to my understanding of what it means to be financially independent. When I first retired, my primary focus was on the freedom to travel and experience new cultures. Thailand offered a beautiful start to this chapter, with its vibrant culture, welcoming people, and incredibly affordable living. Teaching English to those who were trying to rebuild their lives was an eye-opening and humbling experience. The bonds I formed with fellow volunteers and the local community added a rich, human dimension to my retirement that I hadn't fully anticipated. The onset of the COVID-19 pandemic was a stark reminder of the unpredictability of life. Being confined to my home forced me to reevaluate my priorities and find joy in simpler, more local activities. The camping trips I took were not just about escaping the confines of my home, but about reconnecting with nature and appreciating the beauty that was much closer to home than I had previously considered. These trips allowed me to explore states I had previously overlooked and discover hidden gems within the country. Volunteering in New York City post-lockdown was another pivotal experience. The city's energy and diversity were invigorating, and working with New York Cares provided a sense of purpose. Helping students and their families with FAFSA applications was not just about paperwork, it was about giving them a chance at a better future. This period reaffirmed my belief in the importance of giving back and staying connected to a community, even while retired. China was a different kind of adventure. Harbin, with its unique cultural mix and hearty cuisine, stood out as a highlight. However, the pervasive surveillance was a sobering reminder of the freedoms I often take for granted. The experience made me more appreciative of the liberties I enjoy and more cautious about the places I choose to visit in the future. As I navigate this period of introspection and look towards the future, I find myself drawn to new hobbies and local experiences. Disc golf, for instance, has become a surprisingly enjoyable pastime. It combines physical activity with the joy of being outdoors, and it's something I can do both alone and with friends. This simple pleasure has become a metaphor for my retirement, finding joy in the journey, not